yourself. Bring all 5 engines up to where we were. Look up! Water! Oh, brutal. Brutal. There's nothing they can do. Nothing.
The winter rains that ended the Great California Drought in 1993 were welcomed as a godsend by many in Orange County, but fire officials knew the relentless showers were a double-edged sword. The rain relieved a parched landscape, but also allowed the explosion of sagebrush and other wild plants that could easily feed wildfires later. Experts worried that given the right weather conditions, the newly planted hillsides could erupt in fire, and they were right. Tuesday night, October 26, 11:07 p.m. As the Santa Ana winds roared through Orange County, flames from a suspected arson fire began to spread in the brush near Stagecoach Road in Anaheim Hills. The fire marched southwest into the Crestaville neighborhood of Villa Park, then east into the city of Orange. OCN's Nick Barris was among the first reporters on the scene.
24 or so different roof fires, 2 homes confirmed severely damaged, and there are rumors of a third right now at this point that was severely damaged. We have some video of that we're going to be rolling here soon. One thing I want to mention real quickly, earlier we were talking about Linda Vista Elementary School perhaps being closed today. Well, parents out there watching, students, there will be no classes today at Linda Vista Elementary School because they're using that as a staging area for many of the engines up here fighting the fires. So again, Linda Vista Elementary School will be closed for classes today. If parents have any questions, they should contact the school. Now, I was talking about some raw video that we're going to be rolling for you, just hot out of the camera. We just had that brought back to us from East Waterman Avenue in Orange. I'm told there by the photographer that there was roof damage to at least 3 homes, and other homes there was fire right up against the homes. Apparently it was quite a scene out there, and they tell me that firefighters put up quite a stand to keep any of the homes from suffering severe damage from the flames. They were able to save most of those, and that's been the strategy all night long, Mark. They've been saying that they want to go out there with a strategy to preserve the structures, not to contain the blaze, and that seems to have been working.
Although it would be the smallest of the 3 Orange County fires that week, at the time, it was the worst the county had seen in 3 years. OCN's Lynn Westifer saw the blaze this way.
A wall of flames whipped by 75-mile-per-hour gusts licked at homes in Anaheim Hills, Orange, and Villa Park. It broke out on Stagecoach Road in Anaheim Hills about 10:30 tonight, the work of an apparent arsonist. Right now, this fire is not contained, but that's not even what firefighters are working on at this hour. They're trying to save homes that are right in the fire's path. We know of 5 that have already been either damaged or destroyed by the fire so far, and as you can see, this is far from over. It took less than 15 minutes to cross the ridge and move into yards on Waterton Street in Orange. Have you ever seen a fire like this before?
Well, no, not in our backyard.
Residents had to decide when to pack up and leave.
If it actually starts to come into the beyond the fence line there, we'll think about it, I think. At the moment, I don't think anything worse than down to that fence line is going to happen.
I was here for the fire 10 years ago, and it wiped out 11 houses down the street. I lived like a block away then, so I'm not going to take any foolish chances.
Within minutes, firefighters ordered this street evacuated. Residents had little time to plan their next move before being forced out. So far, it appears these homes will be spared, but that may all change if the wind shifts and if backup units don't arrive soon.
By the next afternoon, the Stagecoach blaze had begun to die. But a few miles away, at the top of Laguna Canyon, another suspicious fire was born. If the Stagecoach fire was a tragedy, the Laguna Beach fire would become a full-blown catastrophe. OCN's Leslie Kane watched as the flames threatened a cul-de-sac neighborhood in an area appropriately called Top of the World.
Oh, Brooke, yeah, we are at the top of the world. And John, can you pan to the right a little bit there? You see the flames in front of us, or to the left, I'm sorry. Yeah, you see the flames in front of us. Directly behind those are the ridge where Laguna Canyon is on the other side. Of course, the flames jumped the ridge, have crept up here, and if you pan to the left, you can just see the billowing smoke as the flames creep up to the top of this ridge. This is, we are right above Alta Vista Park at top of the world. And all right, now, you just see that smoke. This has advanced, I would say, about a half a mile in the last, 10, 15 minutes.
You know, Leslie, it looks to be, I mean, the firefighters are spraying water on this thing, but these things, it's so big and so out of control. Are they just trying to basically wet down the structures and keep it away from the structures as possible?
You know, they are just trying to spot save anything they possibly can. There are so many firefighters out here, possibly even 1,000 units from all over Orange County, and they'll set up in an area, about 10 engines, they'll fight a fire like crazy, and they'll pack up and move to another place. They just cannot contain this. It is absolutely out of control. It is down in the Laguna Beach area, down near the high school. I told you earlier that the high school is on fire. The baseball diamond, some offices and some classrooms to the one end of the high school. The major part of the high school is still okay right now, but the homes near Park in St. Anne are threatened, and in this area. This is at the top of Temple Hills Drive, if you advance all the way to the top of the hill and top of the world area.
Leslie, help me get my bearings here on which way the wind is carrying these flames. What direction is it blowing?
Just when you think you know, it's hard to tell. It was blowing south. I mean, I think just since I've been talking to you, you've seen the wind shift a little bit. Straight at those flames, I think that is a southwesterly direction right now. But just a few minutes ago, they were blowing toward us.
Are they moving toward a real populated area at this point?
Well, this is the top of the world area. We are at the uppermost part of Laguna Beach. As I look down over to the right, that is the Aliso Creek area. You can see the ridges in the back. If you go to the left, that is the downtown Laguna area. I'm sorry you can't see much because of the incredible, intense, thick smoke.
But it's moving into the downtown area, basically.
Yes, it is. It has crept over the ridge from Laguna Canyon into the top of the world area and is going down into the village area. However, in the village area, it is still very spotty. There are some areas...
Fanned by the Santa Anas, the Laguna Beach fire raced down Laguna Canyon, skipped downtown Laguna Beach, and then began to spread both up and down the coastline. OCN photographer Jimmy Garcia braved the flames to bring back the terrible images on video.
There was some footage that we'll get into about when the fire first came over the hill in Laguna, and people were dousing their homes. There's this footage here, and there's a guy breaking out of his house here because he was kind of locked in. He was trying to get out of the area, and he literally had to bust out of the window to get free from these flames. Right. This house, in fact, was spared as well due to the work of these firemen, which was incredible. These people are dousing their homes, residents helping firemen. It's just an incredible scene.
All right, and you got an interview with a person, and we're going to hear that in just a few seconds here. We should see it here very shortly. About how far are we away from
just a few seconds away, the guy speaking about breaking out of the home. These people, if the sound comes up full, you can hear the residents tell them to get out of the area right here. They're saying, get out of there.
Why not just close to the thing?
Just came right up and I had no choice but to go through the window.
What's happening to your hand?
Just smashed through the window and just went forward and... So,
you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. It just happened so fast within a few minutes.
Now there's deer running around these homes. There's a herd of deer just trying to get away from the flames. It's pretty dramatic seeing wild animals running and trying to get free from the danger that they felt, and people still trying to save their homes to the last possible second. And
you know, this is the first contact really we've had with the emotions going on in all of this. You're really bringing us the first, and here we go. We have an interview with this woman.
I've got all my valuables, and I didn't water my house because of the fire. People said they needed the pressure. It's just unbelievable.
It's down a little way from that.
People are obviously just devastated by this. I would imagine you ran into a lot of people that were just very fearful.
Very fearful. We were fearing our own lives.
The exclusive Laguna Beach community of Mystic Hills was the hardest hit neighborhood. That's where OCN's Jim Watson positioned himself.
With over 24,000 residents evacuated from Laguna Beach, one of the area's hardest hit was the Mystic Hills division above Laguna Beach High School. Flames raced unchecked through the exclusive community, burning 3 and 4 homes at a time. Residents got out in such a hurry that seemingly important items like their cars were simply left behind and then taken quickly right along with their homes. Inconsistent winds quit and then kicked up again, spitting burning embers along the canyon ridge into new areas. Although most on the streets had definite reason to be there, police still kept a presence to scare off looters. Meanwhile, the firestorm left evidence of its intense heat, burning cars and melting them directly into the street. County firefighters from Dana Point's Station Number 30 had one of the toughest jobs, getting in front of the blaze and trying to stop its advance up the hill. But more times than not, they were simply overmatched, the fire moving swiftly into the unsuspecting neighborhood and chasing the firefighters back into the street to regroup.
Well, we've been down here, that whole end of the street's gone. I'd imagine there's at least 40 to 50 houses on this street alone.
Most of Skyline Drive was burned to the ground. Winds were one problem, but there were others.
And the water supply up here is really bad. We can't get any water, and it's really frustrating to have to watch the structure burn down when you really try your best, and there's not much you can do about it.
By 9 o'clock, the firestorm had cut a smoldering path directly through the area. Mitch Sartori drove from San Diego to save his grandmother's lifelong home. Police stopped him at Crown Valley, so Mitch got out and ran the last 6 miles.
I hope we're through the woods now. It was really bad for a while. I mean, all the houses at one point were just up in flames, and my house is just getting covered with big burning pieces. But it was pretty frightening. It's a miracle.
Around the corner and back on Skyline, a group of LA County fighters were very apprehensive at stopping this blaze. The reason? Ammunition stored in the garage had begun firing, making their work even riskier. At 10 o'clock, 3 Huntington Beach firefighters stood against an angry flank of the fire, trying to save 2 homes. After losing the first, they put all their efforts into the other, but a second-floor explosion of glass and fire caused their retreat. There it goes. Busted through, got knocked. 3 dozen firefighters, 4 hours of non-stop work, 50 homes gone.
Eventually, the flames made it as far as Laguna Beach's northernmost border and the community of Emerald Bay. Dozens of expensive homes were caught up in the firestorm as OCN's Leslie Kane watched.
The Inferno cut from Laguna Canyon Road through Emerald Canyon and ravaged Emerald Bay.
First I looked out my window and the sky was brown, the sun was brown, and they said it was from other fires. And then I looked a little later and there was a big black cloud over the ocean. So I put the TV on, and then they were showing Laguna Beach. They were showing the canyon was on fire. And the TV cameras were there, but they said there were no fire trucks, which was amazing to me, that it was already going and there were no fire trucks. And then around 5 minutes later, they were saying evacuate my street.
Evacuate the area now!
Hand in hand, many simply left their homes and headed to safety, leaving everything behind. Others stayed despite the evacuation order, sitting on rooftops, watching the blaze move toward them. Fighting the windswept flames with garden hoses proved to be futile. 200 homes in this area destroyed or damaged at last count. Damage estimates have yet to be calculated, but no doubt will top off in the hundreds of millions of dollars at least. The greatest disaster to hit Orange County in recent memory, and officials say it's the work of an arsonist. Thousands of people have been displaced, some watching in disbelief from the Pacific Coast Highway outside the gates of Emerald Bay. Residents helplessly saw their million-dollar homes burned to the ground. In minutes, mansions were reduced to rubble, leaving only a few skeletons and chimneys. Some residents held out to the end and worked with firefighters from throughout Orange County to try and stop the wall of flames. But flying embers made their job impossible, the wind carrying the embers and igniting shake shingle roofs. Those roofs quickly burned and the structures went up. For neighbors in this tight-knit community, learning their friends lost everything was devastating.
How are the houses? Are they up on the hill or mostly
It kind of swept right through the 800 block, the old hill. A few houses caught on.
800 block down below?
Yeah.
Where at 905? Was it near there?
He was just there, so the house seems okay. So.
And how about the Sigban? She's our daughter.
That house is gone.
Oh my God!
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, poor Pam!
And the nightmare fire that came from nowhere has left Orange County and those from Emerald Bay stunned.
It's a dangerous place, but it's dangerous everywhere. You know, if it's not gangs and rapes, it's fires. It's very scary in the world right now. I think it's not just Laguna Beach, but every place takes its toll.
Pushed to their limits by the Laguna Beach blaze and others outside of Orange County, firefighters simply weren't prepared for the third local fire. The Ortega Canyon blaze was first reported at 4:29 p.m. on Wednesday, October 27th. It rapidly spread in a hilly area near the Orange-Riverside County line. Even when firefighters were able to break off from other fires, they found the Ortega blaze difficult to reach. Eventually, several communities, including Coto de Caza, Portola Hills, and Rancho Carrillo, were threatened. Some were evacuated. Meanwhile, the Laguna Beach fire was still on the move. In the northwest, it now threatened neighboring cities of Irvine and Newport Beach. The Turtle Rock development near the Irvine border was directly in the line of fire, but OCN's Beth Bingham found that some residents refused to leave.
There's a few people in this area who have said they're definitely not going to leave. They're going to keep their garden hoses turned on to fight the flames. Now, if you look behind me, the fire that you see closest to us, that is a fire that was purposely set by the fire department in hopes of burning the fuel between the homes, just about where I'm standing right here, and the fire, which is the second fire line over there. That's the fire that moved over the hills from Laguna Beach that was bearing down on the Turtle Rock area. Okay, so the fire line that you see closest to us was purposely set about a half an hour, 40 minutes ago in an attempt to burn the fuel between the homes in Turtle Rock and the fire from Laguna Beach. And let's go over here. I'm going to show you how close we are to homes, because this is what's really devastating. When you saw those flames coming over the hill, these are all townhouses in here. It's a little bit dark back there, but just across the street is where the homes begin. And then if we go back to the fire, you can see how close that fire was getting. Now, it looks as though the wind has died down a bit tonight. It also looks as though the wind is blowing toward the ocean, which is away from these homes here in Turtle Rock, which is good news for the people here. Now, the area has...
But good luck and good firefighters saved Turtle Rock and kept the fire from entering any new cities. By Thursday, October 28th, it appeared the Laguna Canyon fire would spread no further. California's governor and the state's 2 senators had arrived by helicopter, bringing promises of government aid and a quick recovery.
I want people to know that we're here to help, that we really do have some hotlines set up. We can really get to help people. If they don't have enough insurance, they're eligible for small business loans up to $100,000 plus their personal property. If they have no place to go right now, they can get money for renting a place for up to 18 months. And if they're low income, they can get individual or family rent.
FEMA, whose cap I'm wearing, has had some rough days. It is a new team and a new agency, and they're in this for the long haul to see that problems are solved, people who need assistance get that assistance.
And I have instructed my staff to go forward with the paperwork necessary. We will be offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the identification and conviction of the arsonist, the sick animal that did this terrible thing.
Laguna Beach residents were allowed back into their blackened neighborhoods to sort through the remains of their homes. Marines from the nearby El Toro and Tustin bases were enlisted to help comb through the rubble in the grim task of searching for bodies. They found none.
No, I've never seen anything like this before, nothing. I've never seen a fire like this. It took out this much? No way. I didn't know it was this bad yesterday. I didn't know there was this many houses involved. But there's a lot of miserable people in this town, that's for sure.
Miraculously, the Laguna Beach blaze, like the Stagecoach fire, had concerned itself only with property and had left human beings alone.
A lot of people, you know, when they find out, oh, you lost your house, oh, we're so sorry. At that moment, you're just glad you're safe, you know, and alive. You're kind of celebrating, and everybody else is saying, you know, it's so bad you lost your house. And it's starting to hit us now that we've lost everything, but, you know, we'll rebuild it.
That was also the case in Ortega Canyon, although that fire proved to be the most stubborn and the most difficult to attack. In fact, one community had felt the double insult of an unforgiving fire and a shortage of firefighters. OCN's Rebecca Brown paid a visit to Rancho Carrillo.
Ortega Highway has become a familiar waiting ground for the residents of Rancho Carrillo. Wednesday night, their little community, which is in the Cleveland National Forest, 6 miles off the highway, sat in the path of the raging Ortega fire.
I had a deputy open my kitchen door about 6 o'clock and saying, get out now, everything go. And my husband had already called and said, get out of the valley, it's burning in the back.
Local volunteer firefighters in Rancho Carrillo fought the blaze as best they could, but the two crews had a tough time going at it alone.
There wasn't any other resources available. Everything was down on the Laguna, because normally if we have a fire, we'll have a bunch of the Orange County rigs up here real quick, because they can be up here in 30 minutes, where Riverside takes, you know, an hour or two to come over the hill.
The fact that Orange County Fire didn't have extra resources to help the folks in Rancho Carrillo was upsetting to the small community.
Oh, you betcha. You know, we have problems going on up here and we couldn't get adequate help. You know, granted, they have problems there, but we too have a community and we needed help, and everything's centered on them. And you watch your newses in the morning and they're flying over your development calling you Coto de Casa instead of Rancho Carrillo. You don't want to be forgotten.
14 of the 68 homes in Rancho Carrillo were destroyed by the fire. Keith Warrant took pictures of what is left of his home. Absolutely nothing.
It's sort of a queasy feeling. There's nothing you can do about it. You just try and save some of the other homes that you can save.
The home of Jan Kreitz was spared, but her house wasn't her first concern.
What was I going to do with my horses? They were in the barn. All I could do was turn them out, lock the doors, and hope that they could take care of themselves.
Once the fire is contained, Jan's neighbors plan to search for her horses. And as they have for years, with or without help from the outside world, the residents of Rancho Carrillo will survive.
What now? Just rebuild and go on. We're a community, and we all care for each other and want to see our community thrive.
As the residents of Rancho Carrillo and the rest of the fire-ravaged areas looked beyond the disaster, stories of good luck and good spirits began to materialize, like the so-called Miracle House on Tahiti Avenue in Laguna Beach, which the flames ignored, even though every other house on the block was destroyed.
It's so unreal, and you see everything is destroyed and your house is still there, but you feel so upset.
It's almost like you're feeling their loss too, even though you didn't lose.
I do. We miss the neighbors already. It feels bad.
I see one firefighter and he looks around like he's very upset. But
because I mean they worked so hard, and I mean one house it's great, but it is still upsetting seeing all the other houses lost.
But he said he saw the newspaper and then he recognized the car here. Bye. And then he recognized this is the house where he worked on. And they jumped around and danced and they were so happy. So, I mean, everything has two sides. It's a miracle. And what do you feel?
It just
lucky, happy, unhappy. I mean, when you see all the houses around, mixed emotions, and very thankful to the firefighters.
There was the story of a basset hound named Bruno, rescued from the Laguna fire by an OCN camera crew, and later reunited with a grateful family.
Good boy, good boy. Everybody have to evacuate it right away. Then the firemen, they come up, they all just you have to go now, you have to go now. Then I forgot Bruno until I go to Pacific Coast Highway. Then I remember Bruno, and by then they won't let you go back. We want to say thank you for everybody who
we really want to thank the newscast people.
Yeah, we want to say thank you so much. Please told.
Because we felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
And especially she did, because she's so devoted to the dog.
Even the fiercely competitive world of high school football took time out for goodwill as players from Irvine's University High School threw a pizza party for Laguna Beach High School players, some of whom had lost their homes.
As a team, decided that we should help Laguna Beach High School with some, food and stuff because of the fire, and we heard that several of their players' houses had been burnt down. So we decided that we'd come down here and have our team dinner along with them, so it would help them.
It's really nice. I mean, show us that they care. It's fun. I didn't know that they were coming, but I think it's a real nice gesture of them to do that.
It's pretty cool to come down here and show support and everything.
And when you're out on the field, you're your worst enemies, but it just doesn't mean anything when you're just sitting here eating food together.
We both really want to win, of course, on the field, and off the field, I think we all really struggle just in every day-to-day life situations. Several of them have been hit with fires and stuff, and several of us came close to getting hit with fires, I believe. So we both I think we all know what each other's been through before, and struggle along with the same things.
And so Orange County seemed ready to get back to life after the firestorms of 1993, which damaged or destroyed more than 450 homes and blackened nearly 40,000 acres. And although they would certainly rebuild their lives, those affected by it would never forget the inferno.
In a span of about 12 minutes, it went from we're safe, the fire's not going to get over here, to the next phase was, by God, I think it might get here. Third phase was, looks like it's definitely getting here. And then finally, are we going to get out of here alive?